Cutting costs doesn't have to mean cutting corners. See, the most valuable businesses reduce expenses without touching quality because they know where the waste is hiding. And if you don't, you'll keep bleeding cash in places that don't grow your company. So without waiting any longer, let's dive right into today's video about cutting costs without cutting quality. You see, reducing costs is not about being cheap. It's about being efficient. And when done right, cutting costs actually increases quality because it eliminates and reduces distractions, waste, and the key right here is low value activity. Because most business owners wait until their profits drop to look at their expenses. This is what I see time and time again. And when you finally do, you panic and you start slashing the things that customers actually value. Things like service support, you start firing your employees, delivery speed. When you reduce your employee count, your delivery speed and delivery quality, as well as your product quality, can and will most likely go down. See, that is not strategy. At least not a smart one. That's what we call survival mode. And it's the fastest way to actually destroy your company, your business, your brand, and your reputation in the marketplace. So, the key to smart cost reduction is identifying those non-value-added expenses, the stuff customers don't actually really care about and would never miss. Here's where you should look. There's 6 places that you should look. Number 1 is redundant software tools that no one uses. What are those things that you're still paying subscription for because you used it last year, and now this year because you changed one specific part of your business, it's no longer relevant anymore, but you're still paying for it. So look for those redundant software tools, or you just upgraded to another version of the software or another software altogether, whatever it might be. Look for those redundant software tools that no one in your company uses anymore. Number 2, look for labor inefficiencies. Are there 3 people doing the job that one person with a system could be doing? Start thinking about growing your business using systems rather than just adding more and more employees, because we often see that there's more than one person doing the job that one person can do very simply with a operating system in place. So number 2 is labor inefficiencies. Number 3 is overproduction. Are you making too much of your product? Are you doing it too soon and too often? A lot of business owners are what we call makers. They like making things. They like hearing the machines roaring in the shop floor, and they like hearing those noises. They like seeing inventory, but far too often they overproduce. They're not selling enough, and they're just burning through costs because they keep ordering supplies, ordering materials, making more, and they're not selling. So one thing that you should start looking into is something called just-in-time inventory. So move to a system like that where you're producing the inventory at the levels that you're selling at. And then once sales start going up, you ramp up production that way. So you're never just sitting on inventory. You need to start looking at it like, that's money on my shelves, that's money on my shelves, and it's not moving. Those are my costs. I invested in those costs that are right there before my eyes, and it's just not moving fast enough. Okay, so over is number 3. The 4th thing you should look for is manual process that could be automated within 24 hours. Start looking at those things. Like last week, we spoke about your customer journey. Is there a point in your process that one person gets notified and then we have to wait for that person to log into a system to check before then they could go to another department in your company and notify them that something needs to happen? If you were to automate that process, put this through a pipeline in your CRM, every party that needs to be involved in the transaction can be notified at the exact same time. That shortens the sales cycle. That shortens the customer journey and reduces friction points. The shorter, the faster you can make the process, the less friction and the less time your customers have the opportunity to drop out of your process. So is there any manual things that happen in your company that can be automated and shorten that time gap that's already in place. The fifth thing you should look for is poor vendor terms. Are you overpaying because you've never renegotiated with your key vendors? Now, vendor relationships are really important. I understand that wholeheartedly. But at the same time, when was the last time that you went out and bid with other vendors and then brought those bids back to your current vendor and say, hey, look, I got these terms from another company, but I really like working with you. Can you match them? You should do that probably once, let's just say once every 6 months. At least you should be doing that. Or if you ever get a large supply in, you should be shopping around at vendors, because the better terms you could get, the better your cash flow will look. The more cash flow you have, the more profit, the more to your bottom line, the more you can invest in with your company, because you are getting better terms with your vendors. Something that most often overlooked. Nobody really thinks about it because they don't want to damage the relationship that they have with their vendors. But I'm telling you, there are more vendors out there, and if you could get better terms, it's something you should probably look at. All right. And then the last thing, number 6, is high customer acquisition costs because your marketing isn't optimized. We talked about that, I believe it was yesterday, about not optimizing your ad campaigns and your marketing campaigns, and you just push more into your ad spend because you believe that is the fastest way to double your revenue, is by doubling your ad spend. But I said, if you have a crappy system, you have a crappy process, pouring more money into it is not automatically going to get more money back. Though a lot of people actually waste money because their marketing isn't, performing optimally. They don't have good copy. They don't have good messaging yet. They don't have a good value proposition that they're pitching in their marketing campaigns. And therefore, they're just wasting money. All right. So when you do this right, it's not that you're trying to spend less. It's that you're trying to spend smarter. And what you're really trying to do is reframe this for you, which is cost reduction should increase your margin, your speed, and your customer experience. And when your business runs lean and clean, it's easier to scale without breaking. And when you do this right, when you start making smart cost optimization, your profit margins will go up. Your cash flow will improve. Your team becomes more focused, and your business is no longer bloated or chaotic. It's lean, precise, and scalable. So, 5 things you should start doing today, all right, to reduce your costs the right way. Number 1 is you should audit your top 10 monthly expenses. Ask, does this contribute directly to customer value or business growth? Number 2, categorize every cost as a growth driver, an operational need, or waste. Remember, the key to this is to get rid of the waste. Number 3, start looking to automate or eliminate one manual process this week. Find the one that you can automate. Anything that's repetitive and not strategic for the direction of your company, for the growth trajectory that you want to go in. Number 4, negotiate with one vendor or supplier. This is probably going to be the most stressful part for you. Right? Ask for better terms because if you ask, they're most likely on the table, but only if you ask. And number 5, I want you to improve one internal system. Simplify it, document it, or delegate it more efficiently, so you can start taking a step back, because as I said before, the purpose of these videos is to help you build and scale a business that can grow and scale without you, without relying 100% on you, so you could have more free time to, 1, focus more on the strategic growth of the business itself, doing the things that actually move the needle forward rather than you being stuck in the weeds on the day-to-day operation. So, smart businesses don't simply cut costs, they cut waste. And when you do that, profit goes up without sacrificing quality. If you want to cut costs the right way, don't just slash your overhead, because that will often lead to poorer quality. You want to do this the right way and find the waste that's in your business. Therefore, you are not sacrificing quality of your product or your service, the delivery times, and your customer reputation in the marketplace. All right. So if you got some value from this, I want you to like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel, because 6 days a week, I'm here just giving quick little tips just like this to help you build the business that you have always dreamed about. All right. So until tomorrow, I'll see you there.